Hello there. It is 7 a.m. I'm greeting a kindergarten class. How are we today? It is Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I don't know, maybe it was just my kindergarten that was like that. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Mixed sun and clouds today. A little windy, highs, low 50s, certainly a little bit milder each day, right, versus 2 days ago. We had to meteorologist Mike Vetta with the first check of the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
At least you didn't say hello, boys and girls, because that'd be a little too much. But here we are. Yes, and we're starting off the day nice and chilly. It is cold across New Jersey, feeling more like late November, early December, very similar to yesterday. We don't have that stubborn wind chill, however. So while there's a breeze at times, the actual air temperature is what it feels like. It feels like the upper 40s right now, from Sussex and Hackensack even through Morristown. 48 degrees in Newark, chilly, but not terrible compared to the last few days. And with that chill sitting in for the next few afternoons, I anticipate they have a little bit of a milder trend right now compared to yesterday. We're about 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday as the statewide average, but don't get used to this because it goes right back in the freezer for tomorrow. And of course, the air is very dry, if you haven't noticed already. Had a few clouds come through last night, a few sprinkles right now, probably making it to the ground, probably not. They're very light, showing up on radar. But again, with the air being so dry, a lot of that evaporates by the time it reaches the ground. Wind gusts today, while it's not as breezy this morning, we're back in the 10 to 20, maybe up to 25 mile per hour range with those gusts this afternoon. Another breezy afternoon on tap for tomorrow. So yes, that will impact the wind chill, making it feel quite cold going into the end of the work week into tomorrow, and of course the beginning of the weekend with the futurecast even showing temperatures throughout the day today into this afternoon struggling to leave the 40s. It'll feel quite chilly even through tomorrow. Now tomorrow afternoon, with that wind shift coming in from the north and west, it gets cold again in a hurry. We're back down below the freezing mark for Saturday morning, and we'll stay there through most of the morning. Little bit more sunshine developing throughout the end of the work week into the start of the weekend, and then I think clouds return for Saturday afternoon, bringing back the threat of some light rain for Sunday morning. But look how temperatures warm into the mid 50s by Saturday night into Sunday morning. We could be pushing the 60s down the shore. There it is, 64 in Atlantic City come Sunday morning. Granted, it's with clouds, it's with showers, but at least it won't feel all that cold. And then, of course, we're right back into the chilly weather come Sunday night into Monday morning. So a little bit of a brief warm up with a warm front, and then we slide back down to below average. Temperatures, you see that milder trend taking us to near 60 across most of the state by Sunday. But again, it's short-lived. We're back down into really chilly weather come Monday. We'll tell you all about it coming up with the 7-day forecast, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Let's take a look here at, we have 45 degrees, we should mention, in northern New Jersey, 46 degrees in Trenton. And there is a disabled tractor trailer. We're starting off already literally the exact same spot that we had 24 hours ago. This is on 495, right as you approach the helix. Look at that mess. Do you remember that was the exact camera shot we showed you 24 hours ago, that middle lane, same issues. So this is 495. Eastbound, east of Kennedy Boulevard in Union City. The right lane is blocked, and that is this time due to a disabled tractor trailer. Yesterday was because 2 lanes over, there was a crash in the bus lanes, but it was the same camera shot, same issues. So anyway, just know that because of the disabled tractor trailer on 495 span, you're going to have some delays. Hopefully, though, that won't take as long to clear up versus a crash because there's no investigation here. We have a disabled truck on the Goethals Bridge westbound on the New York side in New York. The right lane is blocked. It's making your way from New York into New Jersey. We have a crash investigation, though. This is going to take a while. This is on Route 38 westbound, east of Route 541 south in Lumberton Township. All lanes are closed. There's also a crash investigation, 206 both directions north of Route 38 in Southampton Township. All lanes closed there. And a utility pole down on Route 88 both directions west of Route 623 New Hampshire Avenue, Lakewood Township. All lanes closed there. The approaches to the Hudson River right now were 20 to 25 minutes at Lincoln. It's only only 15 to 20 at the Holland. And the GWB upper and lower level approach is pretty heavy, but they say it's only about 35 minutes right now. Simply volume, no crashes or anything to report. So that is still not a bad ride. But your best ride this morning is still going to be your Holland Tunnel approach. 7:05 is our time, and House lawmakers made a long-awaited return to the nation's capital last night after nearly 8 weeks away to end the longest government shutdown of federal government U.S. history.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
The House approved the bill to reopen the government that the Senate passed on Monday night, voting largely along party lines. But there were a number of Democrats that crossed party lines. So the Democrats are falling apart, and they are pissed. Schumer livid. You notice you haven't heard from Schumer because you have Democrats who are on both the liberal side of him and more conservative, moderate side. No one's conservative on that side. More moderate side, both upset with him. The moderates for stretching out the shutdown. It was the Schumer shutdown, period. The moderates pissed that he shut down the government for 5.5 weeks, literally leaving people starving and leaving people stranded at airports, all to make a point, a political point. And then you have the liberals who are pissed that he caved. It's like, why did you do all this for nothing? You got nothing out of it. Over to the House, Hakeem Jeffries is about as inept as a blind man trying to drive a tractor trailer. Okay? The guy doesn't have a clue. He is a moron. Actually, to call him a moron would be offensive to morons. He clearly does. He is in way over his head. He was the little handpicked puppet of Nancy Pelosi and doesn't have a clue. He cannot hold his party together. So as you see here, you had almost a dozen Democrats breaking ranks. And they're in the minority. They're the minority party. And almost a dozen broke ranks and voted with the Republicans, who were pretty much in lockstep. Now, it's a good thing that it happened. Don't get me wrong. Very happy and grateful that it did. This is why we reopened the government. But you had liberals in mainstream media yesterday saying, I don't know. I don't think this guy Johnson, the Speaker of the House, it's right. He can't afford to lose 1 or 2 votes. Then it's all, not only could he afford to lose 1, he could afford to lose 10, and he's still going to pass because he has a consortium of very moderate Democrats who are very wise. And President Trump called the measure a very big victory. The House had not been in legislative session since September 19th. Pam, I think we have President Trump signing that we requested this morning. You may or may not have that there. Yeah, no? All right. So that, remember, the House had not been, does that mean yes or no, Pam? What's that? Pam goes, that's all I'm hearing. I don't know what language it is. I think that's like when I would say to my mother, Mom, can I get $20 to go out tonight? I go, Oh my God. All right. Anyway, now Pam is saying, stop. Behave. Pam, you know I'm so beyond behave. Anyway, we had not had a legislative session since September 19th. That is when it passed a short-term, the House, that is, passed a short-term funding patch to keep the government open when the new budget year began in October, which, of course, the Senate did not take up till now. So anyway, we're just glad that things are opening up again. Air travel disruptions continued yesterday. Even though lawmakers ended the government shutdown, officials warned that delays and cancellations may persist. Nearly 700 flights were canceled yesterday. Flight cuts are set to ramp up again today. 6 to 8% of scheduled flights are going to be either delayed or canceled at the nation's 40 busiest airports. Actually, canceled, not delayed, canceled. Newark Airport at the top of the misery list there. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy is hoping things get back to normal in the next week, just in time for the busy Thanksgiving travel season. We all hope that is the case. 7:09, beautiful auroras delighted sky gazers last night, visible in parts of New Jersey and as far south as Florida. Our own Pam shot beautiful images yesterday. We showed you her images were even better than these, if I may say. They rarely make an appearance here, let alone Florida. It's the truth, Pam. You're a good photographer. You're good at everything. Anyway, this is caused by solar storms being unleashed by the sun. Those solar flares pop out and the magnetic electromagnetism hits the earth. And think about it. Just a tiny, thin magnetic layer prevents those layers of microwaves, et cetera, from the sun from toasting us. That's the way God made this earth. And if you think there was no God, well, you think that. Strong geomagnetic storm conditions triggered by intense solar flares continue, though, even today, but it's likely you will not see any more auroras this far south for the near future. It's believed that last night was the last for the auroras in our area for a little bit. It's 7:10. Tax the rich, tax the rich. It's all you hear from the far left. But what if the rich all say we're going to take our money and leave? Bye-bye. Well, many have done that. A recent study shows New York State lost $517.5 billion and New Jersey lost $170.1 billion in resident income from 2013 to 2022. Because guess what? In this remote era when everything is done by keyboard, I don't need to live in New York. I need to live in New Jersey. I could take my money, go live in the Bahamas, and run my companies from the distance. And that's what they're doing. And they're not paying taxes as a result. So there you have it. So Americans are leaving high tax blue states for lower or no tax red states. We have, yes, we do right there. I'm just not seeing it. I see it now, Pam. I'm just blind. I'm sorry. They're doing this because they can do it, and they are doing it. So you could keep increasing taxes all you want. Doesn't mean you're going to increase revenue. But Democrats will never, ever, ever learn because in their minds, just tax, tax, tax. So they have more money to spend on their pet projects. Rutgers University has introduced a new bicolored grape tomato. Look at that. Could eat that right off the vine. Love tomatoes. Called Scarlet Sunrise. The variety is crack resistant. Unfortunately, I'm not crack resistant. It is sweet. It is high yielding. It was developed through traditional breeding, not genetic modification, so you don't have to worry about growing a fourth eye or something. This new hybrid celebrates and strengthens New Jersey's agricultural heritage. New Jersey has the best darn tomatoes anywhere in the nation. And the head of New Jersey Senate has proposed allowing medical dispensaries to sell recreational cannabis. Municipal approval for sales could be bypassed. Changes include limits on governor's appointment powers. The aim is to streamline regulation and expand market access. Because what we really need when taxes and energy prices are through the roof is greater access to pot. Right, New Jersey, only the Democrats would come up with that. By the way, do you think Senate President Scuteri has heard yet that way more people buy their pot illegally on the street from dealers because it's a lot cheaper that way instead of dispensaries? Oh, by the way, in California, where legalized pot began, so many people are just ignoring dispensaries and buying their pot from Joe on the street that now the dispensaries are asking for a bailout from California taxpayers. Yeah, smart dispensaries. Good way to make income for the state. It is 7:13. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. It's going to be a decent day, a little milder than yesterday. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
very good morning to you. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Thursday. I'm Ken Rosato. Our time is 7:15. It is 45 degrees. Certainly feels a little bit milder than it did yesterday, so that's a good thing. We'll take your calls. 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Love to hear from you. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is here, and he has full Garden State forecast. And Mike, we're all over the place. Maybe one little last tiny bit of a warm-up this weekend?
Tiny little bit of a warmth this weekend. Yeah, now it comes with some rain, so it's not like the warmth you'll be able to enjoy. Still got to carry along the umbrella for Sunday morning, or even if you're out late on Saturday night, some of those showers moving in. Right now, a few light sprinkles showing up on radar, probably not even making it to the ground, but it's just cloudy this morning with a wind chill that makes it feel like the low 40s, not a terrible gusty wind. Actual air temperature right now in the upper 40s, and we only climb into the low 50s today, so we're still hovering right around the 50-degree mark through this afternoon. With a mix of clouds and sun, plan more so on clouds through this afternoon as more sunshine appears throughout the skies tomorrow. Later on tonight, wind chills make it feel like it's back down to the 20s. That's as soon as 8 o'clock this evening. And then that brighter shade of blue comes in. That's the really cold weather for tomorrow morning. 7 a.m. temperature feels like 21 in Flemington, 25 in Trenton. And even though it feels like the upper 40s tomorrow, it's even colder by Saturday morning. Look how chilly it gets in Morristown, 23 on Saturday morning, 22 up in Sussex, and 27 in Hackensack, even down the shore, feeling quite chilly. Then the winds blow in from the south and west and help our temperatures warm into the low 60s by Sunday morning. But again, of course, that comes with a little bit of rain. Once that clears out, we're back in the freezer for Monday and Tuesday. A few clouds around right now, most of them over the same system, all due to that cloud cover off to the north and west. And the rain, I think the snow showers again stay to our north today. We just tap into those clouds, especially in northern New Jersey this morning, keeping us under gray skies for most of the day. Again, few more breaks in the clouds for tomorrow. Saturday should have some breaks in the clouds early, and then cloudy weather by the afternoon with some light showers Saturday night, leading to a milder but wet start to the day on Sunday. 7-day forecast coming up. We'll let you know how chilly it gets for next week, leading into Thanksgiving. Cannot believe we are just less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, Ken. I feel
Ignoring
like
you.
it's just
I'm ignoring you.
it's
I don't
going
hear
so
it.
fast. I looked at the calendar.
I don't
I
want to
gotta
hear
go
it.
shopping. This is fast.
Yeah. You know what we're going to do, by the way? We're doing some special tapings we're going to do next week with Chef Jesse Jones. We're going to get together in his commercial kitchen, and we're going to make a full
Wow.
Thanksgiving meal. So we have several segments. We're going to tape it next week. I can't wait. So if I come back next week looking like this, you'll know why. Because Chef Jesse Jones
It's
does
exciting.
not play. This man is a serious chef. He's the real. He's won all sorts of awards. Anyway, I may just have to sample everything. I'll let you know. Mike, thank you very much, my friend. We'll check back with you. 47 degrees now, northern Jersey, 46 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, we got a lot of it. Look at this. This is a disabled vehicle. It's a disabled vehicle that just occurred, and we actually have the camera shot. There it is. We hope that they get off safely. That individual is just taken off the road by another vehicle. The other vehicle's gone. But this happens to be the Garden State Parkway northbound, south of exit 127, which is by Route 440 in Woodbridge. There are a lot of incidents that happen right there. I don't know why. We end up reading that exit a lot. But the shoulder is blocked, so just be aware of that. We have a disabled truck on the Goethals Bridge westbound on the New York side in New York headed into New Jersey. The right shoulder is blocked there. Crash investigation on Route 38 westbound east of Route 541 south and Lumberton Township. All lanes are closed. We also have a crash investigation 206 both directions north of Route 530 in Southampton Township. All lanes are closed there. And a utility pole down on Route 88 both directions west of New Hampshire Avenue, Lakewood Township. All lanes are closed. Hudson River approaches now. Your lane is 30 minutes, we're told. 20 minutes at the Holland. GWB upper and lower level, a bit on the heavy side. Let's take a look at that. You can see, it's a little better on the upper than the lower. Upper is on the right, but we're told now it's 40 minutes in on the lower level. So it's about 35 to 40 on the upper. It is now 7:20, and police were called to the Virginia home at the center of New York State Attorney General Letitia James' legal woes a dozen times since she bought that house. The 67-year-old Trump-hating James bought the $137,000 home for her grandniece, 37-year-old Nakia Thompson, and her 3 kids to live in August of 2020. The problem is Letitia allegedly said that was going to be her primary residence. so she could get a discount on her mortgage and her taxes and her insurance. That's what she's now in federal investigation for. Thompson, by the way, her grandniece is reportedly listed as an absconder from South Carolina. That is, she is allegedly wanted by police there. So that would mean if that is the case, we don't know, we can't confirm, that would mean that Letitia James is harboring a fugitive, which is something she could be charged for. Again, that's not me, that's reports. We'll see if that happens. Last month, the Attorney General was slapped with a bombshell indictment from the Department of Justice accusing her of mortgage fraud relating to the Norfolk property. That's another property, listing that it was to be James's primary residence. Again, that gave her preferred mortgage, tax, and insurance rates. And many also question whether the niece paid rent to James and whether James then reported that rent as income to the IRS. There are a lot of issues here. So James could say, this is political retribution all she wants. Did you break the law, Letish? That's all it comes down to, whether it's retribution or schmetribution. Did you do what you're accused of? Because if you did, you violated federal law, and any of us would go to jail for it. The New York Post is reporting that police have been called to the residence a dozen or more times, sometimes as many as several times a day. Cops also called up multiple times to another Norfolk home that James purchased for another relative, which is not subject to the DOJ probe, although it might be. Norfolk residents lived in by James's OnlyFans model grandniece, Kayla Thompson Hairston, and her mother and sister. Now, if found guilty, James could face up to 30 years in prison per count. Do you hear me? There are a number of counts. And she'd also have to pay $1 million fine on each count, could lose ownership of the properties cited in the indictment. You are innocent until proven guilty, though. Now, you got to watch this video. Stop what you're doing. 722, this is pretty scary. Seems a driver for the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, or SMTA, appeared to fall asleep while operating a train loaded with passengers. The light rail was flying so fast it nearly derailed. This happened September 24th during the morning rush. You can see the driver's body go limp as she appears to nod off with the train tearing around a curve. After apologizing to passengers, the driver can be heard saying, trying to calm them down, saying, relax, we didn't crash, just relax. Yeah, we only did 50 miles an hour around a curve meant for 15 miles an hour. She said at the time, quote, it wouldn't stop. I don't know what happened. Yeah, you fell asleep. I'm going to go up here and ask them to see why and check the train. That's what she said, to make it look like it wasn't her fault. We'll see. There's still an investigation. Officials are blaming operator fatigue, and the operator has now been placed on non-driving status. 723, the U.S. Treasury has struck its last penny for circulation at 2 p.m. yesterday, part of an effort to retire the coin that has been used by Americans for over 200 years. And it now costs more to produce than it's worth, close to 4 cents to make one 1-cent penny. That's due to the inflated price of metal. Pennies, by the way, are not made of copper anymore, only about 2% copper. They're mostly made of zinc. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent formally stamped that last circulating penny yesterday. Any pennies still in circulation still are legal tender, but eventually they will disappear little by little. Most retailers now price their products in 5-cent increments. So instead of something being $22.99, it'll be $22.95, etc. 724, U.S. Catholic bishops voted yesterday to make care for transgender patients at Catholic hospitals. The step formalizes a years-long process for the U.S. Church to address transgender health care. The bishops overwhelmingly approved revisions to their ethical and religious directives to guide the nation's thousands of Catholic health care institutions and providers. Literally over 1 in 7 patients in the U.S. get treated each day in a Catholic Church-operated hospital. So that's a lot of people. The major medical groups out there and health organizations support gender-affirming care for transgender patients in the U.S., but not so much in Europe now or in the U.K. Other parts of the world are waking up, and they're not politically correct about this nonsense. It is a psychological disorder. You don't treat a psychological disorder by cutting off someone's balls, okay? Wake up. You don't remove a woman's healthy breasts because she has a psychological disorder. But guess what? You know who makes money cutting off a woman's breasts who has a psychological disorder? You got it. Surgeons. They make a lot of money. And many of the insurance companies don't pay for it. That means these people who have psychological disorders have to pay for it out of pocket, so they get the cash to the surgeon's pockets. So if you're shocked, don't be. Okay. Ultimately, bishops will have the autonomy in making directives into law for their individual dioceses, but it looks like they're going to follow church directive. They will have to say, we don't do that here. We will not cut off your body parts. Sorry. Well, he walked in style, equipped with a fake lip, a cool hat, a really good act, and ran out seconds later with cash in hand. The bank robber you see there on your screen, or should I say, alleged bank robber, is now wanted by police. Surveillance video from a Fidelity Bank branch in Slidell, Louisiana, just outside New Orleans, captured the act last Friday. In the video, the man hobbles through the doors wearing a neck brace and clutching a short cane before sliding a note to the teller. Moments later, he shoves a stack of cash into his fanny pack and suddenly ditches the limp and bolts out the door. Nobody got hurt. The suspect still on the run. Federal officials arrested Dana Williamson, California Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, yesterday in a public corruption probe that includes multiple charges of bank and wire fraud. She could see some serious time for this if she is found guilty. Williamson is named along with several others in a conspiracy to commit fraud charge with funds that were supposed to go to the former Congressman Xavier or Javier, depending on how you want to pronounce his name, Becerra. So this is a very serious charge that we have right now. So apparently there are 23 counts in total, 18 bank and wire fraud charges, each carrying up to 20 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines. And this weekend, we have some fun stuff happening. Excuse me, I'm having issues with my teleprompter, so forgive me for looking off to the left. We're having some good things happening this weekend. The vibrant plant-based community in New Jersey, or a vibrant plant-based community, comes alive at the New Jersey Veg Fest, a 2-day celebration of vegan and vegetarian cuisine, which is very cool. Lifestyle and creativity represented. The event will be held this Saturday and Sunday from noon to 7 at Lackawanna Station in Montclair. That's right at the border with Bloomfield. Attendees get to taste a wide range of plant-based eats from local chefs and food truck vendors, cruelty-free fashion, live music, vegan cocktails and mocktails, all served up in a lively festival atmosphere. Whether you're fully vegan, vegetarian, or simply veg curious, it's fun to check out. For tickets or more info, go to njvegfest.com, njvegfest.com. 727 right now, 47 degrees on New Jersey mornings. When we come back, the Affordable Care Act open enrollment period is underway. We'll be right back. Very good morning to you. It is 46 degrees in northern New Jersey and in Trenton, 45 degrees now in Vineland, and 44 in Cape May at 7:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Mixed sun and clouds today. It'll be windy, highs, low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Fetta with a detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Basically a repeat of yesterday. We had a little bit of a chillier start to the day yesterday. We're starting off this morning a touch milder, but with the clouds that are around, you can start to see those show up here on the satellite picture. It will be a gray beginning to the day with some light breezes. Winds right now gusting anywhere from 15 to 18 miles per hour, 16 mile per hour gust there in Mount Holly. So with those winds this morning that make the 48 degrees feel more like the low 40s, actual air temperatures managed to make it into the mid 50s by the end of the day, with a little bit more sunshine, especially in South New Jersey, right there toward Avalon, Cape May. Mid 50s, that's closer to average as opposed to the very chilly weather we had yesterday. 56 degrees is our average high up in Newark, and with so much cloud cover to start the day, look at where those clouds are sitting right now, right there, just north of 195. South of that, you're starting off the day nice and clear. Now, there were a few sprinkles that rolled across Route 78 right now down the Turnpike and Parkway. Another one entering northern Morris County. Those light sprinkles could be around for the first part of the day, but eventually we clear out and bring back more sunshine by the afternoon as highs by 4 o'clock climb into the upper 40s only. It'll be a cool finish to the day with another round of cold weather tonight as that wind blows from the north and west with more clouds by the end of the day tomorrow. Then, with the chill that returns for Saturday morning, as that northwestern breeze persists, we start off rather chilly again on Saturday morning with a gusty breeze and only make it to the upper 40s on Saturday. So, still running about 5 to 8 degrees below normal for the first half of the weekend. Sunday, however, turned milder, especially in the early morning with that warm front. We'll take through the rest of the day. You can see the lake effect snows here coming in off of Great Lakes. We just get the residual clouds by tomorrow. And then with a warm front that comes in on Sunday morning, allowing for a little bit of a milder feel, is quickly replaced by that cold air. That will take us into Monday and Tuesday with another round of chilly weather to start off next week. So the 7-day forecast, although it turns a bit milder for the end of the weekend, nearing 60 by Sunday down the shore. Sorry, this is the northern half of the state. I'll show you down the shore in just a sec. By Sunday morning, there'll be a few light showers around, and that will provide the colder air that sends us back down into the 40s and low 50s for early next week, with the dry weather returning. Down the shore, we could make it into the mid 60s with that warmer air moving in there first. Still, chance of some showers early in the morning on Sunday. Plan for a damp way to start off Sunday morning, and then colder weather with drier air setting up for next week. So still a chilly feel, Ken, around here for at least the next week and beyond.
There you go. Keeping Pam happy. It's all about keeping Pam happy. I know Pam, our director, loves that cold weather. There you go. Mike, thank you, sir. It is 46 degrees both in northern New Jersey and in Trenton right now. And in terms of traffic, we have a lot of that's popped up here. Let's, you know what? Let me just start with the Garden State Parkway. If we have that camera, we have that disabled vehicle still. Garden State Parkway northbound south of exit 127, which is Route 440 Woodbridge. You can kind of see it off to the right in the distance, kind of sort of under the green signs. That's where the emergency vehicles are. They widen the shot, but it's causing all that brake checking you see there, the red lights. So it's not a major problem. It is causing a little slowdown nonetheless. And again, that is by Woodbridge Township 127 exit northbound Garden State Parkway, just to give you a heads up on that. We also have issues on the Goethals Bridge with a disabled truck. Now it's on the New York side heading westbound into New Jersey with the right lane and shoulder both blocked. 206, there's a crash investigation both directions from Route 530 to 616 in Southampton. All lanes are closed there. We have crash investigation Route 38 westbound east of 541 South Lumberton, in that area, Lumberton Township. All lanes are closed there. A utility pole down on Route 88, both directions west of New Hampshire Avenue, Lakewood. All lanes are closed there. Let's see, they're updating as I talk to you, and I think that's all that we have there, except for Hudson River approaches. The Lincoln Tunnel is now reporting 30 to 35 minutes, 25 at the Holland. GWB now has some issues because we apparently have something mid-span. It says there are delays on the GWB upper level, eastbound New Jersey side over They don't say what, though. I think earlier they said there was a disabled vehicle. But just to let you know, of those two sets of lanes there, the upper level is on the right, lower level is on the left. So the issue is on the lower level. You can see it's moving a hair more slowly, not horribly, though. And then it's going to cost either way 40 to 45 minutes on the GWB. 7:35 at our time. The Affordable Care Act open enrollment period is officially underway. Millions of Americans making decisions about their health coverage for next year. But with premiums expected to rise and, of course, some federal tax credits set to expire, finding affordable quality coverage could be more challenging than ever. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation is urging families to take advantage of open enrollment before the January 15th deadline. Don't wait till the last second. Stay informed about changes that could affect their costs and coverage options. And Dr. Catherine Hempstead is the Senior Policy Officer with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. She's here with us to help understand what's challenging, what's changing, what's to watch, and how families can make the best decisions for their health coverage this year. Good to have you on, Dr. Hempstead. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You bet. It just kind of makes your head spin. And the crazy thing is, I didn't realize statistically that the vast majority of Americans are on Medicare or Medicaid, that it's a relatively small number, but still a large number. But overall, it's like less than 10%, right, who are on the Affordable Care Act. But nonetheless, that's a lot of people with open enrollment who have to figure out what's going on. So what's going on this year?
Sure. I mean, and you're right. In New Jersey, it's about 500,000 people that rely on the Affordable Care Act, the individual market for their coverage. You know, it's a smallish segment of the population, but it's something that's increased in the last several years as the plans have gotten more affordable. And it's also important to remember that most of these folks don't really have another opportunity to get coverage because they're too young for Medicare, they don't qualify for Medicaid, and they don't get an offer from an employer. So the marketplace is really important for them, and open enrollment is an important time for them to choose a plan. But you know, what you said at the beginning is correct, that many people, in fact, almost all people, are going to come back to the marketplace this year and find that the plans are a lot less affordable because a really important set of federal tax credits is set to expire at the end of the year, which means that the 2026 premiums are going to be higher.
And we'll say this, that I live part-time in Florida, part-time here. And in other states, I hear nightmarish stories about what's available. But in New Jersey, I've heard some really good stories for people who are working really hard, like lower middle in terms of being on the economic scale. And they finally got a decent healthcare plan over the last few years through this ACA. So I mean, there are some good stories, but unfortunately, because of the sunsetting of the government kicking some money toward the insurance companies, this is going to change. So this could end up costing a lot of families a lot more money, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a pretty major hit for a lot of people. There's a ballpark estimate that the average person is going to see their premiums go up by 100%, which is, of course, a big number. But there's such a big variation in what that really means. There are a lot of people who were paying, very low income people who were paying a $0 premium, who are going to now be asked to pay maybe $60, $85. So that's, in dollars, might not seem like that much, but sort of percentage wise, it's a huge increase. And for really low income people, that is something that might be too hard for them. And then as people are higher up the income level, the percent increase is smaller. But then there's another problem for folks who are at the top of the income distribution, for people who make over 400% of poverty, which is approximately $62,000 for an individual. These people now, when these expanded tax credits expire, they're not going to be eligible for any tax credits at all. So for these people, they're going to see some really profound sticker shock when they go back to the marketplace. And the Congressional Budget Office and many others have estimated that the enrollment could shrink by 30 to 40% as many people decide, given other expenses that they have, et cetera, it's too much for them to afford coverage. And the other thing that we worry about is that the people that leave will be more likely to be healthier folks, so that the people that remain in the marketplace will be using services more, which might create some bad momentum for premiums in the future. but it varies a lot by state. And I think the last time I looked at the most recent estimates, the projected coverage loss in New Jersey is a little bit below average, and that may be just because it's a higher income state and just sort of
Mhm.
the income characteristics of the people on the marketplace. But it's a really unfortunate setback, but still for people that really need health insurance coverage and they're relying on the marketplace, they absolutely should go out there and look at plans. No one has exited in New Jersey. You still have the same choices, and see what your choices are.
Yeah, I mean, what I've encountered, this is just anecdotal from friends who have kids. Those who can be on parent plans until 26 or whatever, they're happy and they stay on plans. If they are not on parent plans and if they're young and healthy, they say, I don't need to spend money on health insurance. And you're right, those are the healthier ones. And those were the ones who could get insurance relatively inexpensively, right? Because they're in their early 20s, they're in good shape, they don't have any medical issues. They could probably get, if they all were to buy health insurance, that would, of course, help entirety of the system because there would be influx of cash. But unfortunately, many of them say, why should I buy health insurance? I'm in good shape. I don't have to worry. And that therein lies part of the problem. Unfortunately, we just hope this gets
Yes.
settled soon. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we have
No.
about a minute left.
Agreed.
Go ahead. Deb, I just want to make sure before we run out because the commercial hits us hard and we don't have a choice. I said, what is a? Go ahead. Let you finish, and then please give us a website for more information.
Yeah, I mean, you just raised a really good point that people that don't really feel like they need to use healthcare are the sort of the first to leave when prices go up, and then they're the ones that we can get in when premiums go down. And that's really why the marketplace grew so much over the last few years, is that the plan became more affordable. New Jersey has its own exchange. We don't use healthcare.gov in New Jersey, so the website is called
Mhm.
Get Covered NJ, and that's where you can see what is available to you given your zip code and your income and your age.
And the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation has really helped people focusing on healthcare and really helping people all over the spectrum for years. Thank you for being there and helping so many New Jersey folks, especially. We appreciate it. Dr. Catherine Hempstead, such an important topic, Senior Policy Officer with Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. We appreciate all you do. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
You bet. Thank you, Doctor. Very, very important. Do not put this stuff off, folks. It is now 7:42. When we come back, how the government shutdown is affecting families and their ability to put food on the table. We'll be right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 745, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Mixed sun and clouds. It'll be windy, high, low 50s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Mike, I just rewound yesterday, so you can go upstairs and hang out with the baby, and we'll just play yesterday's forecast again.
Well, I would maybe still sleeping. Just upstairs, made a little breakfast. But thank you for the offer. You know what's interesting? Around this time, you start to see some of the landscapers come by, blow the leaves, and not only do you see leaves, you see the plumes of dust. Just how dry the dirt has been, and the soil has very little moisture. Well, we're still in that drought now. This is as of this past week, showing that extreme drought there in northwestern New Jersey, or excuse me, severe drought rather, that's the technical term, shown in orange. The rest of the state west of the Turnpike is a moderately dry, and then that area in yellow extending from Bergen County right down toward kind of the breadbasket of New Jersey, there toward Millville and Medford. Those areas still abnormally dry. This updates in the next 40 minutes, so I'll show you the change due to the rain that we had in the last week, and already some of those areas along the shore running above average for rainfall, but still quite below only 90% of average toward Flemington and Trenton. So a little bit of a benefit with that rainfall just in the last week, and that has promoted the rainfall deficit to be less than an inch there from Sussex and Morristown, places that were more than 2, 3, 4 inches even below average just a month ago. So we've seen some improvement, even though this is our dry season, and we'll keep the weather dry today with temperatures holding in the upper 40s and low 50s in northern New Jersey. Not a whole lot of warmth there through Sussex, Newton, Hackettstown. A little chilly through this afternoon with the breaks in the clouds for a little peak of sunshine. Beyond that, going into Thanksgiving week, we'll likely see a little bit of a milder trend. That's not to say it's going to warm up. This map may only mean a 1 or 2 degree warmer trend going into the end of November, but still, every degree counts, and we'll keep it there. Still on a slightly mild trend through the end of the month, and slightly wetter than average as well, although not expecting some big rains. Hurricane season is wrapping up and coming to an end. No big development down the tropics, so I think we're done with the big nor'easter type rainstorms that we sometimes get through the middle of November. A little bit milder into Sunday, as highs climb to 59 degrees. Also some light rain for Saturday night, late Saturday night, going into Sunday morning, and then clearing by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where the chill returns, Ken, and temperatures struggle to leave the 30s in the morning and get out of the 40s each afternoon.
You're making me sad. Do you know that? You know the only other thing that makes me sad?
Well, I think
When you
I
brew
comforted with food just now.
I woke up like groggy-eyed, sand in the eyes, and I went to brew a pot of coffee, and I went and got ready, showered, brushed the
Yeah.
teeth, and I come out, and I go to pour the cup of coffee, and as I literally take the coffee cup and go look like this, there was a flea floating on the top. And it's because I brought in one of my basil plants from the balcony, so damn it, I brought in a flea or something. And of course, I dumped it. Pam was like, ew. So I dumped it because, I know people who would just drunk it. I dumped it. Now I had to dump the whole pot of coffee because you don't know if it was in the coffee, it was in the cup. I know. These are petty little problems. Maybe we all have these problems, but nonetheless, for coffee lovers, that was like, I'm sorry, just a little emotional. All right.
I know.
Thank you. Sorry, Mike. We'll check back with you. I appreciate you, sir. 46 degrees now in northern New Jersey, and it's 46 in Trenton, 45 degrees now in Cape May, and it's 46 in Vineland. 749. And in terms of traffic, we had a disabled truck reported now routes 1 and 9, I should say, northbound. North of Stiles Street in Linden, the center lane of 4 lanes closing. It's actually the uppermost line of traffic as you look toward the left. That's where they're hitting their brakes. And so it's not a major problem, just a shoulder issue, but it is causing a slowdown as people rubberneck nonetheless. We have a crash investigation now on 206 both directions from Route 530 to Route 616, Southampton Township. All lanes are closed there. And over to Garden State Parkway, we have an issue with a disabled vehicle northbound just south of exit 127. This, you can see where they're hitting the brakes. It's just in that middle right That's where all of our shots are a little wide there, so it's hard to see. But this is at exit 127, Route 440, Woodbridge Township, with the right shoulder blocked. We have a crash investigation. Route 38 westbound east of Route 541 south in Lumberton. All lanes closed now, and a utility pulled down on Route 88 both directions west of New Hampshire Avenue. That is in Lakewood Township with all lanes closed there. Now we go over to the Hudson River crossings. The Lincoln Tunnel is reporting 35 to 40 now to get across. The Holland is pretty good. It's only 20 to 25. GWB up and lower, now very heavy. We have a crash reported GWB upper level eastbound midspan Fort Lee, so the right lane is blocked. So upper level is on the right, all those tractor trailers. They're the ones encountering that problem. The lower, you can see, is moving a little better on the left. Either way, it's going to cost you, it's about 40 minutes on the lower, 45 on the upper. 7:50 is our time of the ongoing federal government shutdown, which is now voted to be over, but it'll be reopened as now the week continues. Tomorrow, one more day. It has landed squarely on the plates, unfortunately, though, up to this point. Millions of families in New Jersey and across the country, people who depended on SNAP benefits to get that last few dollars to feed the children, to feed their spouses. SNAP benefits, of course, have been delayed, reduced, or suspended altogether. So the risk of food insecurity is very real. And in our area, we have a lot of people who had that issue happening. People who maybe for a long time hadn't had to go to a help with a charity, but they had to do that. So just think about that. Next time you go shopping, remember the people who need that help. Remember the soup kitchens and the charities in our area. Well, here with us to talk about what's happening at the local level, what people are experiencing, and what relief efforts are being sought is Shindora Knox, who is market manager at Affinity Federal Credit Union. Over the past year, by the way, the credit union has seen a big surge in need for its member relief grants and quick cash stipends. So Shindora is very aware of what is happening and when it's happening. First of all, good morning to you, Shindora. Good to have you on today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. Pleasure to speak with you.
Always a pleasure. We always love having you on. So the federal shutdown has raised some serious concerns about SNAP benefit disruptions. From your vantage point at the credit union, what are you hearing? What are you seeing in terms of how members are already being impacted by food costs and benefit uncertainty?
Well, our members, just like several New Jerseyans, are struggling. We are hearing that they're making or having to make some very difficult decisions. Most of us open our refrigerators and try to decide what are we going to eat today. Our members are opening refrigerators and having to decide which of our family members will eat today, if any. And hearing those stories are heart-wrenching, to say the least.
Yeah, that should never, in this country where we throw out so much food because it's so, we produce in such abundance that it goes bad, that should absolutely, positively never, ever, ever happen. As my grandparents would say, that's a sin. Yes, it is a sin. Remember, it's a biblical command. We don't let our fellow people to feed the hungry. We have to do that, and that is a command. Not a suggestion, right? When SNAP benefits delayed or reduced, the ripple effects add up so quickly. How are your member relief grants and other supports being used in response to what's going on right now?
Well, about 18 years ago, Affinity Federal Credit Union set up what we call an Affinity Foundation. And we work really hard to put a small dent and help those who may be struggling. We offer member relief grants that do not have to be repaid, but sometimes it makes a difference between families eating and not eating, or keeping the lights on, or staying in their homes. So we work really hard to make sure that we are making a difference in that area as well. The foundation also has connections with various community agencies, and we try to connect our members and non-members often with those resources so that no one will ever have to struggle and again wonder whether they can eat or their children can eat.
Yeah. I could remember when, as a kid, I remember when going food shopping with my mother. I remember for a family of four when she said, I cannot believe this is 1970s. It's a long time. I'm old. But I remember her saying, I cannot believe it's up to $25 a week at the A&P to go food shopping. So that was, and that was like the threshold. Like, she literally set aside about $25 in her wallet for everything, like for shopping and some goodies. And she said just groceries alone cost that much. Today, to feed a family of four, it costs you 200 plus. I don't know where people are even finding the money, where they look first. So thank God that these grants exist for so many members who desperately need it right now. Thankfully, the government is reopening, but it could take weeks before this people get up and back to normal and start getting their SNAP benefits, right?
Absolutely. This is a temporary solution. The reality is it's kind of band-aid. And before people even get those items, there is an immediate need. So
Mhm.
Affinity, again, has connections with various agencies that we can recommend. We actually, quite interestingly, joined with about 15 other credit unions, and we donated about 5,000, I think it was maybe 5,100 pounds of food to various organizations just so that people would have something to eat. Um, we
I
we
love that. I'm sorry to step on you. I have to say, the fact that you teamed up with other financial agencies to do that just says so much about the desire and the sincerity. What a blessing that is. And I'm sure everybody was very willing to do that.
Absolutely. It was totally volunteer from our team members and those from other credit unions. It was a great opportunity for us to connect for a common cause. And the amount of people that we were able to impact made us feel really good, and hopefully it helped tons and tons of people. But in addition to that, we also have 100 plus team members who are what we call financial well-being coaches. They go through a 6-month program where they learn different resources for people who may be struggling, how to have those conversations because they're not easy conversations. Oftentimes, people feel uncomfortable, sometimes even embarrassed, sharing that they are struggling. So we have confidential conversations where we can talk to them, help them with ways to connect with funds, connect with agencies, make sure they themselves can eat and their families can eat. All very important to the mission of
Mm,
Affinity.
100%. Shandur, what is a website for people to get more information?
Any information needed can be found on our website, which is affinityfcu.com. If you do /foundation, you will also find ways that you can donate to support the relief grants that we do at the foundation. And there is
Mm.
also an item called Wellbeing. And if you click on that, there will be resources for community agencies that can assist.
All right. Shindora Knox, Market Manager, Affinity Federal Credit Union. God bless you for what you do and all folks who helped out there. And thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Have a great day.
You as well. It is now 7:57. We'll be right back. morning to you. It is 8 a.m. on Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and we have the phone lines open for you, 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Mixed sun and clouds, windy, highs low 50s, straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta. Detailed check of the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. A chilly start to the morning, but not as cold as yesterday, and we get a little more sun in the forecast this afternoon. Even though it's cloudy right now for the northern half of the state, some sun breaking out down through Millville and Cape May. That's why you're almost at 50 right now down in Cape May. Seeing those temperatures warm, anywhere from 7 to 11 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We're about the same as the time yesterday down the shore from Toms River and LBI. The air is dry. However, there were some showers earlier this morning trying to make it to the ground, most of them failing to do so. Maybe a few sprinkles right now working its way across the Delaware up towards Sussex County, but that's it as far as the extent for light rain today. Plan on a drier day with temperatures holding in the 40s, feeling like that due to this wind. Wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour this afternoon. Winds relax tonight, but predominantly blow from the north and west into tomorrow, so it'll feel a little colder by tomorrow afternoon, especially into tomorrow evening, and then really chilly again on Saturday. So even though it's a little bit milder now, we're kind of headed in the opposite direction over the next few days with that cooler weather. The future cast shows that pretty well, especially with highs today. Despite the sunshine struggling to leave the 40s, we're back in the 30s later on tonight, starting off tomorrow morning, really chilly in the freezing territory, and then back into 40s in the afternoon. So still running anywhere from 8 to 10 degrees below average throughout tomorrow into Saturday morning. Saturday morning starts off around freezing for most of the state, sunny skies to begin the day. And then with a wind shift by the afternoon, we'll notice temperatures climb into Saturday evening, but that also brings back the threat of rain. You can see the light showers here that come in late Saturday night, lasting through Sunday morning, helping temperatures to spike into those 60s at the shore, but it comes at a price with that wet weather lingering early through Sunday morning, kind of a damp feel before skies start to clear out by Sunday afternoon. So the good comes with the bad, and then we get a little bit of a clearing into next week with the chill returning. At least the temperature climb, right, in the correct direction, back into the low 60s by Sunday for most of the state. We'll tell you more about the chill that returns into next week. That's on the 7-day forecast, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And we have a temp 46 degrees in northern New Jersey, 46 in Trenton as well. In terms of traffic, a lot of that going on. Let's take a look for 295 right now. We have a crash on 295 northbound exit 60, which is 195. You can see it right in the middle of the highway right now. Awful place to have to do an investigation and take care of people, but nonetheless, that is where it is. That is in Hamilton Township. By the way, if ever, God forbid, you find yourself in a crash or an accident on a moving highway like that, do not, under any circumstances, unless you are ordered to do so by emergency officials, do not get out of the vehicle. Your safest place is in the vehicle. I saw somebody walking around their car a moment ago there, and that is not what you do, because then you risk getting hit. If you're in your vehicle and somebody hits the car, you could still get hurt, but you'll likely survive. If you're out of the car, good luck. So stay in the vehicle. Little tip. We also have a crash investigation, 206 both directions from Route 530 to Route 616. That's Pemberton Road in Southampton Township. All lanes are closed there. Over to the Garden State Parkway. Still have that disabled vehicle northbound south of exit 127, Route 440 Woodbridge. Maybe they wiped it away. No, I still see it. It's off to the right. Yeah, it's way off on the right, but now the vehicles are just kind of moving past it. They're not really brake checking. That's a good thing. We have a crash investigation, Route 38 westbound east of Route 541 south in Lumberton Township. All lanes are closed there. And a utility pole has been down all morning long on Route 88, both directions. That is west of County Route 623, New Hampshire Avenue, Lakewood, with all lanes closed there. We now have, let's see what's popping up. All right, the latest we have, let's go to the Hudson River approaches. The Lincoln Tunnel is now 35 to 40 GWB. We do have an issue there. Lower level is, they're now saying travel time 35, 40 minutes. They had an earlier issue with a crash that was on the lower level, which is the left side there. But it looked like that may have been taken care of. I don't know, because it's moving better than it was. Still about 40 minutes in, 35, 40 on the upper on the right. 8:05 is our time right now. We have some important news for college-bound students and families in New Jersey and beyond. Stevens Institute of Technology has announced a bold new program. They call it the Stevens Investment. It'll offer full tuition coverage to first-year, full-time U.S. citizens or permanent resident undergrads whose families earn $75,000 or less per year, starting with fall of 2026, that incoming class. Joining us this morning to talk about what this means for students, access to higher education, and how the university is preparing is Sarah Klein, Vice President for Student Affairs at Stevens. Good morning, Sarah.
Morning, Ken. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And that is one heck of a lure to come into the school. What inspired Stevens to launch the Stevens Investment? How does the university envision transforming access to education?
Yeah, we're really, really proud of the Stevens investment, and it's really just demonstrating our commitment to allowing access to higher education and to a place like Stevens to any student who's qualified to be here and who should be here. And it can really be transformative for students and for their families. So we're so excited to be able to do something like that.
That's amazing. To walk us through, because I gave very quickly, I gave those specifics, the stipulations there. So walk us through how the program works and what full tuition coverage means for a student who's accepted for fall of 2026.
Students don't really have to think much about it. They just apply to Stevens, and we're going to examine the student family's financial situation. And then we've made this commitment to making sure that they can be here and that it's not cost prohibitive to come to Stevens for a four-year education, have the access to a world-class institution. We're a STEM institution, so we really want to encourage students who are interested in science, technology, math in particular, and engineering, of course, which is our focus. So getting students here who can then be launched into new professional opportunities through their time here.
That's amazing. So you do all the thinking, so we don't have to do the thinking, right? That's brilliant. And by the way, I think we talked. I don't know if you were the one we had on or somebody else from Stevens last time we had somebody on. We were talking about how it's so windy at the campus there along the river, but it's such a cool campus. It's such a great view, the most amazing view of Manhattan where you are. It's such a great location in Hoboken too. What kind?
View is
Yeah, I
unparalleled.
mean, no,
You
that's
know,
it. That's Stevens is awesome. You guys are awesome. What kinds of students and families are you hoping this will reach? 'Cause this isn't clearly for everybody all over the financial spectrum, right?
Sure, it's students and families who couldn't otherwise afford an education like Stevens. So it's really for folks who maybe come from different communities where there's less access to higher education, where students maybe wouldn't normally consider a place like Stevens, which is expensive. It has a high price tag, and we do know that. And so it's our hope that we can eliminate that concern and allow for more people to even apply to Stevens and consider us, and then for us to help those families make it all possible. The student can be here and experience what we have going on here, which, we just received a ranking the top 100 of U.S. News best national universities. We're really proud of that. And we recently participated in the National Survey for Student Engagement, which is a national benchmark survey of all colleges and universities. And we scored extremely high in terms of just how our students feel when they're here. And more than 86% of them said that they would want to return to Stevens if they could do it all over again, which is really a significant number for us, and we're super proud.
I have a friend whose son studies coding there. And he's an IT tech guy, and he loves Stevens. He is the biggest evangelist for Stevens. So I hear about it all the time when I work. I'm over at here, and I work at WOR Radio in New York, and it's just very, very cool to hear that they literally is in love with the school.
Yeah, that's great to hear. We have a lot of
Yeah.
students who have a lot of Duck pride.
That's very cool, and rightfully so. For students who may not meet the specific criteria for the income threshold for the Stevens for this particular program, you do have other financial aid and scholarship options, correct?
Of course, many different scholars programs, and when students apply, we will consider them for all those programs automatically. We have a Clark Scholars Program for excellent students who often come from different underrepresented backgrounds, maybe who wouldn't traditionally be represented in the STEM professions. Similarly, we have an ACES program, which is about accessing careers in engineering and science. And that's a program that actually starts before college. During high school, students can apply for ACES scholarships to come to pre-college summer programs at Stevens. But we also have an ACES undergraduate scholarship, which allows for those same students to then continue their education once they're here as an undergraduate student.
So now the program starts with fall 2026. So what should prospective applicants be aware of, and what deadlines do they have? They have to get their documents together. Any special requirements? What do they need?
There's nothing special. They go through the traditional college process. We accept the common application and they go through the process as they would, and then we will consider them once we look at their financial information. So we really just open it and encourage any student and their family to look at Stevens. Maybe a family that might not have thought of us before, please come and visit and check out the campus. It's, as you mentioned, the most amazing view and really the best community. The students are phenomenal, and we want to recruit more students who might want to be a part of it.
Sarah, you're making this much too difficult. I don't know. I can't. You could be more helpful in terms of bringing people in. Just like, we'll do everything. Just come on. From a student affairs perspective, really, that's so awesome to hear because it's not usually what we hear from folks. Actually, we have about a minute left, so I want to make sure we get a website for more information because I'm sure a lot of people want to check this out.
Sure. Students can just click on stevens.edu to get more information and learn more about our campus, our community, all of our academic offerings. One thing that's good to know about Stevens is that we have a new curriculum for undergraduate students that is focused on technology. So all of our graduates, even if they're not studying technology, will get some foundational coursework in coding, in AI, in all of the latest technology so that we're preparing our students for today's workforce. So we're really, really proud of that.
AI is where it's at. Tech is where it's at. This is the future. We're not still talking about let's plant the onion bulbs in the ground. This is not. This is the future, and that's what you folks are planning to train us all on. So thank God you're there. Sarah Klein, Vice President for Student Affairs at the Stevens Investment Stevens Institute. What a great college it is. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. It is now 46 degrees, 8:13. When we come back, we'll tell you how neighbors are helping neighbors in Bergen County. Sun and clouds today, windy, highs low 50s. Mike will come back with a full forecast. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Oh, and welcome back to New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Big sun and clouds today, a little windy, highs in the low 50s. This is windy season, Mike. Strict meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State Forecast. Let's just say, look what I keep right next to my desk all day long. Even though I'm inside in a basement studio, this is my friend.
Well, it's about the cans of hairspray you'll need. This is multiple cans, plural, over the next few days. Because, yeah, the wind is a big deal. Of course, the cold, too, making the wind chill right now feel like it's in the low 40s. Could be worse, and it has been colder in previous mornings. But we get another round of really cold weather with the chilly air and, of course, the gusty winds for Saturday morning. I think that's where we'll see wind chills in the teens waking up early to start off the weekend. As far as today, the winds, they'll be gusty, not as terrible, and with a temperature that feels like the upper 40s thanks to a 52-degree high through Middlesex and Monmouth and Ocean County. It's not all that bad. The forecast wind chill today, again, climbs into the upper 40s. We're back down into the 20s as soon as 8 o'clock this evening, so really chilly weather. Setting up again for tomorrow, 21 for Friday morning at 7 a.m. there in Flemington with that cool weather sticking around throughout the afternoon Friday. Again, feels like the 40s. Look what happens by Saturday morning. A lot of light blue on this map. That's the colder air coming up, and it feels like the low 20s again from Flemington, Trenton, up through Morristown, and even through Hackensack. Really chilly stuff on the way. Now, by Sunday morning, there's a big change. The winds blow in from the south and west, and that pushes in much milder air that'll bring us into the low 60s. Granted, it comes with a little bit of rain, but with that wet weather offers at least some mild relief in the form of some milder temperatures. Few showers now crossing over into Sussex County. We showed you these before. They're likely holding together and giving portions of northern New Jersey a quick passing sprinkle early on in the day. But I think that'll be it in terms of today's rainfall. Just clouds for the northern half of the state with sun breaking out later on today. The weekend sees that chilly start, but a mild finish. We start off in feeling like the teens Saturday morning, quickly warming into the low 60s by Sunday morning, and then cooler weather returns by Monday and Tuesday, but drier weather as well. I'll tell you all about it coming up with the 7-day forecast, Ken, with you.
Very good. Thank you so much, sir. And we check out, 46 degrees right now, by the way. So temperature up and down the state. It's funny. It's rare that we see it in all our locations, but it's 46 northern New Jersey, Trenton, Vineland, and down by Cape May. It's fluctuating between 45 and 46 in Cape May right now. 8:18. And in terms of traffic, we have an issue still on 295. The crash on 295 northbound at exit 60. Look at that, right in the middle of the highway. Causing some issues. Folks are just tapping the brakes a little bit. It's not a major problem for them, but certainly for the person involved in the middle, it is. Again, if you ever have an accident like that or a breakdown, stay in the vehicle. Just call from your car for help, but do not get out. Like those folks are professional. They're the ones with see the guy on the left there with the yellow vest. That's one thing. But normally, if you're the person, stay in the vehicle. When I worked over at the three-letter channel, we always made sure we told people that. We have a crash also on Route 18 north of Paulus Boulevard in New Brunswick. The left lane is now closed there. We have a crash investigation on 206 in both directions from Route 530 to Pemberton Road in Southampton Township with all lanes closed, and a crash investigation Route 38 westbound east of 541 South in Lumberton with all lanes closed there. Utility poles been down all morning long on Route 88 both directions west of New Hampshire Avenue in Liquid Township with all lanes closed. We have delays down Route 4 westbound from River Road D-Neck to Forest Avenue Maywood Avenue in Paramus with all lanes open, but just a lot of volume for that 3-mile stretch or so. And your approaches to the Hudson River right now, we have issues at the Lincoln Tunnel with about 40 minutes crossing over. That's a lot. It's 20 to 25 at the Holland. GWB upper and lower levels have been heavy all morning. Your better bet is the upper level now on the right. You can see that's going to cost you 35 to 40. The lower level is going to cost you 45 to 50 on the left. 8:20 is our time, and the holidays are often a time for giving. And Bergen County, one local organization, is making sure that spirit shines brighter than ever. Bergen Volunteers connects residents year-round with meaningful ways to give back, helping neighbors in need and strengthening our communities. This season, they're gearing up for their annual Neighbors Helping Neighbors event where 200 volunteers will come together to assemble 2,000 essential item care packs for individuals and families struggling in our area. Those packages will then be distributed through local community partners to make a real difference during the holidays. Sharon Adler is the CEO of Bergen Volunteers. She's with us today. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having me this morning.
You bet. Nice to have you on. And how did Bergen Volunteers start?
So Bergen Volunteers has been in the community for 60 years. It started with a group of volunteers who came together and they saw that there were community members who were falling between the cracks of social services. And they said, we can do something about it. As volunteers, we can make a difference. And they did. They came together 60 years ago. And today we have 9 programs in the community that are all volunteer driven. If our volunteers didn't show up tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to run our programs. We are incredibly grateful that members of our community step up and give their time, their energy, caring, and dedication to make sure that vulnerable residents in our area are cared for and thought of every day. We are preparing now for our seasonal holiday program called Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And volunteers get involved with seasonal projects, but involved with us all year round.
So what do the volunteers do in the Neighbors Helping Neighbors event? What's needed of the volunteers?
So we're going to have on December 7th, volunteers come to our office and premise, and we're going to be assembling, as you mentioned, 2,000 essential items to distribute into the community. We will have volunteers assembling cold weather bundles, hats, gloves, socks to be able to distribute to shelters for those who are between homes. We are going to be assembling toiletry kits, essential items to be able to distribute them to domestic violence shelters. We're also going to be assembling snack packs to be able to bring them to food pantries to really help those who are suffering from food insecurity. And we're going to be putting together gifts for seniors who are homebound and might not be getting any gifts this holiday season. And this program will provide them with knowing that we care. They're connected to the community. We see them, we value them, and we care for them.
And how do you possibly distribute that many things? How do you distribute 2,000 care packages to the folks who need it most?
A lot of coordination, as you can imagine. So we talk to the community partners, the nonprofit organizations in our area. We're really a hub in the community. And we talk to them about what do you need. Then we put together the items that they're going to need, the quantities they're going to need, and we then set up a day where they're going to come and they pick up, and we have volunteers who will help us load the vans and the cars that come to pick them up, and then the organizations take it into communities and distribute it to their clients. So really, there are so many fingerprints that make it possible to help residents in need, from volunteers coming here on site to assembling, to helping load and distribute, to community partners distributing the gifts, until they're in the hands of those that need them. There were so many fingerprints that made it possible, and that's why volunteering is so important. And that's what we do. We really find meaningful opportunities for members of our community to give back.
That's the amazing thing. I mean, people are so busy to get people who are so kind to give of their time. You know what? It's wonderful to write a $5, $10 check or a credit card. I'm sure you could use that too for folks, and you'll get it to them. But for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to take 2 Saturdays a month, or my children and I are going to spend, this weekend because we need to give back. So my kids know about what it is they know what it is to receive at the holidays. We need to give back. That is the blessing of humanity that is above and beyond. And it just shows the kindness and the goodness of the people here in New Jersey who do that. And beyond the holidays, Bergen Volunteers, you're doing work year round. Talk about some of the ongoing programs that you have throughout the year.
Absolutely. As you just mentioned, giving and the caring, it's so generous. And we have programs where we work with seniors. We have senior services. If somebody wanted to be matched with a senior, we take our matching we're so careful that we place people with where they can give back and they find it really meaningful. And so we have volunteers that start with a senior and visit them once a week. and we had a client who started when she was 80, and had the same volunteer with her. They just celebrated her 100th birthday. So we have programs that really make matches where they become family. So we have programs for isolated seniors where volunteers go and visit and do light errands for them or call them and check in on them. We have programs for at-risk teens. We have mentorship programs where we look for mentors that can meet twice a month with a student between the ages of 10 to 18 who really needs a friend and a trusted friend to help guide them through challenging times. And that program's 18 months. Those often extend well beyond 18 months. Again, almost where you're, family because you become a trusted friend. And we also do programs with teens. We do leadership programs, learning about community giving, needs of the community. And we do adult leadership training called Bergen Leads we have over 500 alumni in the area where we take writing professionals in the community who really want to understand Bergen County, want to understand the issues in Bergen County, and how they can be as thoughtful a leader as they can, which is really the future of Bergen County, and how we strengthen our community together and stay united. So it's really giving back is positive. It is it's the good feeling that you have. You're making an impact. You truly make a difference, and that's how we really stay strong as a community.
It's pretty amazing, is what it is. Cheryl, please give us a website for people to volunteer or contribute to the Neighbors Helping Neighbors event or other Bergen volunteer programs too that they can help out with. What's your website?
BergenVolunteers.org.
And you're all over Bergen County, right?
We are. We are all over Bergen County. We really look to meet volunteers where they are, whether they want to give back once a month, once a year, or they want something every week. We are here to listen and find that meaningful opportunity for you because you truly change lives. So, Ken, thank you so much for allowing us to come on and talk about Neighbors Helping Neighbors and Bergen Volunteers year round. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you to the volunteers as well for all that you all do. Sharon Nadler, the CEO of Bergen Volunteers, one of the special blessings we have here in New Jersey. We appreciate all you do. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
You bet. It is 8:27 now. When we come back, a new Rutgers health study is raising serious questions about the influence of social media on young people's drinking habits. Phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Mike's telling us mix sun and cloud. It'll be windy highs, low 50, full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings on your Thursday. We call it Friday Eve around these parts. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Very good morning to you. It is Thursday, November 13th, 2025, 46 degrees now at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to New Jersey Mornings. Sun and clouds today. It'll be windy with highs in the low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast for you. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. I think we'll see a little bit of sunshine later today, but it takes a while for these morning clouds to depart. You can really see them here on the visual satellite, predominantly north of 195 and really say north of exit 63, 68 there on the Parkway. Most of northern New Jersey covered in clouds right now, and maybe a few sprinkles entering Sussex County, but the southern half of the state, beautiful and sunny. And that's the clearing trend that takes over statewide later on today with a little bit of a breeze. Right now, those wind gusts up to 23 miles per hour in Newark and 18 miles per hour in Mount Holly. Just updating, showing you that it's a little breezy early this morning. Well, full on sunshine today. If you find yourself waking up down the shore, and that will help you climb into the upper 50s there toward Cape May, maybe make it up to near 60 for you, Avalon, Ocean City, mid 50s with a little bit of a westerly breeze, feeling lovely, which is right on par with average. Northern half of the state probably staying in the upper 40s, again, due to that delayed warming thanks to the clouds, and now some of those light showers entering the northwestern corner of the state. So we didn't keep rain in the forecast for all of New Jersey because it's only impacting kind of the northwestern corner, maybe there up toward western Passaic and Berg County early this morning. Could see a light sprinkle, but again, the air is so dry, a lot of this rain evaporating before it reaches the ground. The rest of the day into this evening featuring a clearing that will ultimately bring back mostly sunny skies by the end of the day. Again, sunset by 4:30, and then we keep it cool into the evening hours. Excuse me, forgot to mute this. Overall, it's going to be a rather cool start to the morning with temperatures beginning in the low 30s, and with that chill in the air, it stays cool going into the beginning of Saturday. So wind chills will make it feel like teens and 20s early Saturday morning, even though highs struggle to make it out of the 40s by the end of the day. Then there's a mild trend coming in for Sunday morning with plenty of clear sky ahead going into first part of the weekend. I think Sunday, however, has some showers that come back, and you see them right here. By late Saturday night into early Sunday morning, all shades of green. That's the light rain before the cold front sweeps through and clears out that brief warm-up that'll take us into the low 60s, right back down into the 20s early on in the morning, of course, with the wind chill. 7-day forecast is that milder trend through the end of the weekend, and then a sharp cutoff back down in the 40s for a high, low 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We've got more details and the new update on the drought. Let you know how that has been shaping up here across New Jersey. That's coming out in a few minutes, Ken.
Mike, why aren't you picking up the phone?
It was my wife, so I got some explaining to do right now during the next commercial break.
Like, honey, you know I do this show in the morning. It's called On New Jersey. Let me help you find it. Listen, my mother used to call me when I was on Channel 7. Like, I was on Channel 7 15, 20 years at that point. My mother would call, are you coming by today? Yeah, Mom,
Excuse me,
I'm
no
sort of
is
talking.
interrupting. No is asking if I want breakfast now, so I gotta go. Clearly, there's just too much happening over here in the household.
We're sorry to interrupt your breakfast. It's okay. All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. We'll check back. I love it. It's true. 46 degrees. You know, it's just day to day. Your spouses and grandparents and parents, you forget it. We're doing a job here. It's not like we're at a regular desk. It is 46 degrees in northern New Jersey, 46 in Trenton, 45 now at Vineland, and 46 in Cape May. 8:34 is our time. We have a lot of traffic to talk about. Let's go over to 495. This is over by the Union City. You can see that heavy traffic, and I think a lot of that is just sun glare in people's faces as they head eastbound into New York City. Look at that middle lane. So that's giving you about a 35 to 40-minute crossover time or cross-through time of the Lincoln Tunnel as a result, making your way across the Helix. That's definitely the sun causing that, because otherwise we don't have any issues to report there. We have a crash investigation, 206 both directions from Route 530 to Pemberton Road, Southampton Township, with all lanes closed, and a crash on Route 18 northbound, north of Paulus Boulevard, New Brunswick, with the left lane closed. We go over to 287 to Route 22 east in Bridgewater. You can see some volume delays there. We had an earlier report of a breakdown. Oh, there it is. A breakdown, and you have a little air fog there causing some visibility delays. But got people moving about 15 miles an hour now there. And we have utility pole down Route 88 both directions west of 623 New Hampshire Avenue, Lakewood Township, with all lanes closed. Over to the New Jersey Turnpike. This is Hudson County Extension by Interchange 14. We have some issue right now causing that. We don't know what. This is in Newark. They're not telling us yet what that is, but clearly it's causing bumper-to-bumper traffic. Again, New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension at Interchange 14. Everything pretty much there at close to a standstill, making your way through there. Your Holland Tunnel approach of New York is pretty good. Actually, only 20 minutes right now. GWB upper and lower levels, been slow all morning. It's a little better on the upper level, which is on the right. Lower level on the left is going to cost you 40 to 45 minutes. And that's your track. It is 8:35. A new Rutgers health study is raising serious questions about the influence of social media on young people's drinking habits. The research, a meta-analysis published in The Lancet Public Health, found that teens and young adults who see alcohol promotions in their social media feeds are significantly more likely to drink or binge drink compared to those who don't. Now, the findings come from 31 studies representing more than 62,000 participants and highlighting how digital marketing can subtly normalize alcohol use for younger audiences. If you see it all the time, you see people, whoa, have a good time. You think that's just fine. What's a big deal? It is a drug, a liquid drug. It is a drug. Dr. Scott Donaldson, assistant professor of general internal medicine at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, and one of the lead authors of this important study. Good morning to you, Dr. Donaldson.
It's great to be here, Ken. Thanks for having me on
Good
the
to
show.
have you on. And I speak as a person, I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I'm one of those guys. It wasn't that I said I'm not going to drink because I'm choosing to be moral. I have atrial fibrillation. That's aside. I tell you that because the minute I gave up my 2 to 3 martini a day 10 years ago, my whole life changed for the better. I think we are just drowned with, if I could use that term, with these ads, making it look like it's a classy thing to drink and it's fun. And the social media ads are everywhere for alcohol, especially this time of year. So what did your team discover about that connection between the marketing and what is actually happening, especially in young people?
When teens see alcohol in their social media posts, they're more likely to drink regularly, and binge drink. This effect was consistent across 60,000 young people across the globe. So a striking finding, Ken.
That is a huge number, and it just takes the idea of having that occasional glass of wine when you're out to dinner, which is perfectly fine. And it turns it on its head because now you're saying that this is something that is good, it's encouraged, it's party. You're cool if you get drunk or stoned or whatever. And that is exactly the antithesis of what we want young people to know. So your study now shows that those exposed to alcohol-related content were up to twice as likely to drink or binge drink. So are these like paid ads or influencers? What kind of a video are we talking about?
Yeah, content from commercial companies. Those could be paid ads, exposure, branded accounts on social media that young people might follow. And that also is encompassing the new and emerging trend of social media influencers, which we're
It's
hoping to
not even
study in the
about,
future.
I'm sorry to step on you, doctor. You
That's
found that
okay.
it wasn't even about how long they're watching, but if it's like a certain influencer who might come on, that's more important, if you will, from the alcohol company perspective, to get that message out really fast. So it doesn't even matter if they're watching a long time. Is that true?
Right. So in the study, the studies that we analyzed asked participants if they had ever seen this kind of content. So the literature and the science is yet to get into those specifics of the dose and the effect, which we assume might be large. But for this study, I just looked at all the studies that had ever been done on this topic and summarized them. And the vast majority of the researchers asked these young people, have you ever seen this kind of content? And that was associated with a 2 times increase in susceptibility to use or intention to use alcohol, using alcohol, and binge drinking outcomes.
You know, I remember I worked for a TV station in Miami back in 1998, 99. And I remember that's when Red Bull first came out. And this is not to single out any particular product, but the big thing was to do vodka and Red Bull. And the way it was promoted, they literally came into nightclubs and were giving away vodka, Red Bull, vodka, and they would sell it as the vodka makes you sleepy, but the Red Bull wakes you up so you can keep drinking. And they had, I remember, an incident of ambulances, one ambulance after another on the strip on South Beach in Miami, because these kids were drinking 10, 12 drinks to the point of almost alcohol poisoning. They were passing out because they weren't feeling it, because they were getting up. All this, say, were like caffeine poisoning and alcohol poisoning all rolled into one. It's amazing the power of influence like that and what it does. Now, in this case, you found that this was especially strong among adolescents. So why among them? Is it because they have not experienced the sickness of hangovers, or is it because they just are more susceptible to social media marketing?
I think they're more susceptible to social media marketing. They're Gen Z young populations that are digital natives. So the phone is all they know. Whereas you would go to a sponsored event out in the real world and see Red Bull and vodka for a few hours. The phone's in their pocket 24/7. So those exposures, we don't know they could be getting hours of this kind of content. And it's problematic. So we're encouraging parents to talk to their kids about this phenomena. We're asking policymakers to ban this kind of problematic content, and then also, calling on the public health community to design programs and interventions that equip kids with the skill they need to handle the digital environment and know what they're looking at.
It's really unnerving. And what is the conversation that parents need to have when they sit down with the kids? What should they say?
I think it starts with simple conversation of, what are you looking at online? What kind of content are you seeing? A lot of times with this type of marketing, it's covert. It's hard to know what, you're being targeted with. So I think it starts with a simple conversation between parent and child or teen. Just having a discussion about marketing and what, kind of content they may be exposed to inadvertently.
Yeah. Doctor, what is the website that you have there for more information?
ScottDonaldsonPhD.com.
Right. Dr. Scott Donaldson, Assistant Professor of General Internal Medicine at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. We thank you for coming on this morning. Very important topic.
Thank you for having me on the show, Ken. Great to be here.
Appreciate it. 8:42 right now. When we come back, if you work in Montclair, there's a brand new space designed to make your workdays a whole lot brighter. We'll explain. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
Hey, Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us. The show celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose to volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 8:45 on your Thursday morning. We call it Friday Eve around these parts. We're taking calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. When I worked for the big Channel 7, I used to do what's called a talkback with Robin Roberts. She used to she called it Little Friday. She called Thursday. Thursday was Little Friday. Robin is a very cool lady. Very nice. Mixed sun and clouds today. It'll be windy, highs low 50s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Pavetta with the Garden State forecast on this Little Friday in honor of Robin. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah. Good morning to you. We call it Friday Eve too, even though it's the day, Friday Eve day. We're starting off with a little bit of rain this morning up in northern New Jersey. And these are light showers I showed you before. This is the radar picking up some of these light sprinkles making it to the ground northwestern New Jersey. Here's Sussex County, the border there, over with Morris County and Dover and Patcong down through Mount Olive. These light sprinkles could be around for the next hour or so as they've been kind of showing up on the radar picture for the last 40 minutes. But it's rain that's needed and necessary in the areas where it's driest because still through the next week, the severe drought remains there in the northwestern corner of the state. No change to the drought map today, even though there have been some improvements to the rainfall deficit over the last month. We're still running on the dry side. With temperatures today climbing into the low 50s, it'll still feel cool with the breaks of sun we get later on this afternoon. Again, if you're waking up in southern New Jersey this morning, wait, what cloud cover? It's beautiful and sunny. Yeah, that's also helping you warm nicely as well. But northern New Jersey kind of socked in with the clouds this morning. Have to wait about another week for any improvement in temperatures. It stays cooler than average for the next week, but beyond that, the Climate Prediction Center has it a little bit milder than average going into Thanksgiving week. Could only be a few degrees, but every degree counts. And then into the end of the month, slightly higher than average rainfall chances. The only rain chance we have is Saturday night into Sunday morning. And while it comes with a brief warm up into the upper 50s and low 60s, that feel pleasant, it also comes with some rain. So you take the warmth with the price, and then going into Monday and Tuesday, they cool right back down into the 40s. The shore points also chilly, warming to 63 on Sunday, late morning, early afternoon, and then with those driving winds from the north and west pushing down the cold air, we're back down to the freezer come Monday and Tuesday morning. So another round of cold weather heading into next week.
I have some folks on Facebook Live right now, and the woman just said, it's chilly, I would say, in Ocean County. Yeah, it's chilly in Ocean County. You were right. So definitely feel it. Good morning. Well, we appreciate that report. Thank you, sir, and have a wonderful day. Thank you
as
for
well.
our final weather of the day. 46 degrees now in northern New Jersey and 46 in Trenton. It's been stable. It's unusual that we have the same temperature with the same air mass throughout the state, but we do have that. So there you have it. Let's go over to our traffic now. We have on the New Jersey Turnpike right now, Hudson County Extension Interchange 14, very heavy volume right now, and there is something going on. I think we have a breakdown or a crash. Still hasn't been reported to us, but this is stopped. Look at that. It's not that they're going slowly. This is stopped. So this is New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension by Interchange 14. Just beware, there is something happening they haven't even reported yet, and that is absolute stopped traffic. Beware of that. We also have a crash on Route 18 northbound, north of Hollis Boulevard, New Brunswick, with the left lane closed, and a crash investigation on 206, both directions from Route 530 to Pemberton Road in Southampton Township, with all lanes closed there. Crash investigation, Route 38 westbound, east of 541 South and Lumberton Township, all lanes closed there. Let's go over to 495, making your way to the Helix. It's the beginning of 495, right before the Helix. You can see just a lot of volume right now, and that's as they head eastbound. We always say as they face east, you see that they drive right into the sun. That always slows things down. And we also have some problems now over on, where are we at here? Over on the Garden State Parkway. Pam, I don't know if you have the GSP cam for me. It's Garden State Parkway southbound from exit 149 in Bloomfield to 145 East Orange. It says about 3-mile delay, and I see we may have our guest, Pam, so I'll set up for that. Just giving you we're on air talk back here. But just beware of that if you have, there you go. Now, a second ago, that was absolutely stopped. So the Parkway is trying to tease us. Literally a second ago, that was stopped, but that's a good thing if they cleared up whatever the issue was. Pam, are we doing our guest? All right, let's go to the GWB. The GWB upper and lower level right now. The upper level is moving better than the lower. You'll see the tractor trailers flowing in the middle side. Lincoln Tunnel, let's see if we have that GWB shot. There you go. Okay, so your upper level is better in the middle there. Then lower level is going to cost you 40 to 45. Lincoln Tunnel is 35 to 40, and the Holland is about 25 minutes in right now. 8:50 is our time, and if you work or live in Montclair, there is a brand new space designed to make your workplace a whole lot brighter. And we're going to have a person on in just a moment. We're just working on an audio issue, so that's why I'm kind of tap dancing, but I'm going to tell you about this. This is a brand new space designed to make your work days a whole lot brighter. It's called Rec Room. Now, for those that don't realize what Rec Room is, it's a co-working and community hub that officially opens its doors so we're having audio with the person, audio issues. You know what? And it's not going to be fair to put them on by the time they reboot. So we may have to rebook them. But I will give them a plug I want to mention because the whole idea is so cool. So say, for instance, you need an office space, but you can't afford, to have your own office. You can share this office space, and they kind of make your whole day brighter with a full day of co-working and wellness and celebration. So when we get this person on, if we don't get them on today, we have to have them back because I think that is such a cool idea. If you have a business that you only need office space every now and then, that's perfect for you. In terms of news at 8:51, House lawmakers made a long-awaited return to the nation's capital last night after nearly 8 weeks away to end the longest federal government shutdown in U.S. history. Take a listen.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
So the House approved the bill to reopen the government that the Senate passed on Monday night. The House approved it last night, voting largely along party lines, but a number of Democrats in the House crossed over and voted with the Republicans. The final vote was 222 to 209, which is actually quite a large number of Democrats. The Democrats fell apart because they got a lot of pressure from their constituents because real people were really suffering, not getting SNAP benefits, people stuck at airports. This was real. And Chuck Schumer, this was all conjured up by him. This was a plot, a literal political plot. And I think it's going to cost him his seat. Either somebody from the right or somebody from the left. We won't have time. There's a couple of minutes, the show's over, so we can't. But we'll have it on another day, Pam. Anyway, this is the issue. Chuck Schumer used this as a kind of a bargaining chip. In the meantime, holding millions of Americans, 40 plus million Americans who require food to eat and feed their children. You can't hold American families hostage with food over their heads, Chuck. That I know Chuck. I can call him Chuck. I know him on a personal basis. That's disgusting. And now he's getting slapped for it. You notice he hasn't appeared in media in the last few weeks because he knows he is to blame for this and he's in big trouble with his own party. Meanwhile, the same thing with Hakeem Jeffries. He has lost control of the party in the House of Representatives. And that's why about 10 Democrats said, I'm tired of you, and are not supporting Hakeem. And they came over and voted with Republicans. It's about letting people eat food. If you want your constituents to survive, they have to eat. You can't play games with SNAP benefits for people who are struggling and are food insecure. I'm sorry. That is not what you play with, folks. You are hired by us to run the government. We are your bosses. And if you can't do your job, step aside and let somebody in who can, because we're tired of this silliness. Grow up and do your job. 8:54, air travel disruptions continued yesterday, and even though lawmakers ended the government shutdown, officials warned that delays and cancellations may persist. Nearly 700 flights were canceled yesterday. Flight cuts are set to ramp up again today, meaning about 8% of scheduled flights at the nation's 40 busiest airports will be canceled. Newark Airport at the top of the list. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy is hoping things get back to normal in the next week, just in time for the busy Thanksgiving travel season. Thanksgiving, by the way, 2 weeks from today. Beautiful auroras delighted sky gazers last night, visible in parts of New Jersey and even as far south as Florida, where they rarely make an appearance. As solar storms unleashed by the sun reached Earth, strong geomagnetic storm conditions triggered by intense solar flares are ongoing. It is believed that last night was the last for us to see those auroras in our area for at least a while. Well, tax the rich, tax the rich. All these young socialist hypocrite types on the far left have been screaming this. But what if all the rich say, jerk, we don't have to stay here and pay you. We could just leave and take our money. That's what's happened. They're not stupid. They're rich because they're smart with their money, and many left. A recent study showed that in New York State, almost, in fact, over $500 billion has been lost. And in New Jersey, $250 billion lost when residents said, you know what? We don't need to pay you. They could pack up their money in their home and leave, and they've done that. So that happened between 2013 and 2022. Americans are leaving these high-tax blue Democrat-run states for lower or no-tax red states such as Florida or Texas. So Democrats don't understand this. Liberals just think we could just go after them. Now you have some liberal states like California. They're trying to say, if you leave, we will tax you California rates for up to 10 years. Well, that's been challenged in federal court. You don't have that authority. If I don't live in your state anymore, you have no jurisdiction over me, moron. So stop trying to be communists, which is what they are. And Rutgers University has introduced a new bicolored grape tomato called the Scarlet Sunrise. Isn't that pretty? It looks yummy too. The variety is crack resistant, sweet, high yielding. It was developed through traditional breeding, not genetic modification. This new hybrid celebrates, strengthens New Jersey's agricultural heritage. And we make, I think, grow the best damn tomatoes anywhere in the nation. And the head of New Jersey Senate has proposed allowing medical dispensaries to sell recreational cannabis. Municipal approval for sales could be bypassed. Changes include limits on the governor's appointment powers. The aim is to streamline regulation and expand market access, because what we really need now is more people walking around stoned in the streets, right? With energy prices through the roof and taxes through the roof, and you can't find housing, we need people stoned. That's what Democrats think. That's what's best for our society. By the way, that stinky smell in the street too. Do you think that Senate President Scutari has heard yet that many more people don't buy their pot legally they buy on the street from dealers because it's cheaper there, and they get the stuff that's super potent? You know, in California, the dispensaries are going bankrupt. They're asking for a bailout from the state because everybody's buying from dealers. Yeah, maybe Scutari needs to do a little of that to understand. It's 8:57. We thank you for watching on New Jersey Mornings for your Thursday. Again, it's going to be a decent day. Sun and clouds, highs around 50. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.